welcome back to the Two Thinking Apes. We're on episode 13 now. The hot streak continues, and we're with a friend of the show, David Nguyen. Tell us a bit about yourself, mate. How you going?
Hey, hello everybody. I'm good. Yeah. It's been all right. How are you guys?
What's your shirt say? I can just say fat.
It says
Fat.
Fat Boy Barbecue, Big Hot Sandwich.
Oh, hubba hubba.
He's renowned for his style at Jiujitsu,
Hey.
but you only see it for 2 seconds as you walk in before you get your robes on, mate. David does Jiujitsu. Also a black belt in Taekwondo.
Which
Isn't that
actually
right?
isn't a big mention, to be honest, because black belts in Taekwondo are like nothing compared to Jiu-Jitsu or anything like that. But yeah.
We'll get into that stuff first, because that's what I want to know.
Well, look at you taking control, Tay.
Correct. When did you start
Very lucky
Taekwondo,
woman.
and how long does it take? You know, Costin.
Yeah, come on,
When
say
did
it.
You know, Costin has a missus now.
Oh, fuck.
That's why we're busy. That's why we couldn't do tonight.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why he
Wow.
was a cunt.
How has this happened?
Sunday fun days, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
I mean,
Fingers
like,
crossed.
I mean, with COVID, like, how exactly did you find the girlfriend as you know? Oh, well, I don't know, girlfriend, missus, friend. How do you make friends during COVID at that point? Like, you
No,
just
it
know
was
each other.
a few months ago. It was before the lockdown. It was just before the hard lockdowns. It was on Tinder, if I'm being honest. The classic facilitator.
Right.
And it was just good timing, I guess.
Very good timing.
Meant to be, you could also say.
No,
Good
you
timing, meant to be. I
Can't
don't
say
know.
that. Oh, you're a bit of an expert now, aren't you? I've just engaged cunt mode.
No. How's because you've got a missus in Vietnam, or were you
Yes.
talking shit when you told me that? How's long distance?
Well, I mean, people like to have ideas about long distance, but I think long distance is like, you just got to have a plan. And depending on the sort of relationship you want, long distance is actually good in some senses for at least some people, I think. Like, for me, I think about long distance as, well, why did you choose somebody to be so far from, especially if you, I don't know, have certain needs, or you need to be in close proximity to someone, you know, you want to lay in bed with somebody every night and have
Sex.
well, I mean, we could have other things, but say that's probably one of them. And you know, you want to have someone around you, and having actually, well, in a psychological sense, close proximity breeds more love for each other and more acceptance for each other. So not having that close proximity is actually a pretty, well, I would say, detrimental thing. But I think, depending on the way you think about it, long distance sort of teaches you, well, why the hell would I choose someone 8,000 kilometers away to be in a relationship with when I don't get any of the benefits of being in close proximity of that relationship? And I guess it
In here, mate.
outlined. Yeah, it's in the heart. Yeah, and it outlined to me that, you know,
Romantic.
if you want it to work, you better have a plan. You better know
What's the plan? Or is that personal?
Well, I mean,
How'd you meet? I don't even know how you
Yeah,
met.
how did that happen?
you know what? I follow in Costin's great
Tinder.
company, and I met her on Tinder, but she only downloaded it for like a week. Just
Was
as
she
friend.
in Vietnam on Tinder doing that passport thing or something? Or
No, this was years ago. Like,
How long you been together for?
I mean, I don't like the term, but officially we've been together for like almost 3 years.
What a flex.
Oh, not really. I mean,
Yeah, anyway, yeah, keep
3
going.
years of being under eternal servitude to another human is not exactly a flex.
There's the psychologist degree coming out.
you're close to 3 years, Tay, aren't you?
I am. Oh, not really. 2.5 years, maybe.
Well done.
Something like that. We're going to go on a double date. We've already
No, we're not.
organized it. Not you, mate.
Oh,
Unlucky.
I mean,
When I go to Vietnam,
I'll just leave you two here.
you could.
Costin gets jealous.
It's my
Jealous?
Greek genetics. What do you want me to do?
You can't get jealous of a guy who's got a bald head.
Oh,
I mean,
thanks, bro.
No, like That is the most truthful thing I've heard in a long time, and I don't.
Yeah, he introduced a photo of me to his new missus, and guess what she said?
What?
That I look 40. That's the first thing she says.
Yeah, but good for like a good
Oh, good
4-year-old.
for 40. Yeah, good for 40.
Good for 40.
Yeah,
But
that's
still 40.
Like you have a very thick beard.
Thanks.
You do.
As long as I got
yeah.
the beard.
Is there
It's the
something
Arab
to that?
genes. Is there something to that?
Yeah,
Is that
like
what
a
you
secret.
said? No.
No?
Oh, actually, our mate got me beard oil for Christmas.
Beard oil.
You should put some on you, mate.
You know what? I won't grow a beard anytime soon. No matter how much how much testosterone you want to inject into me, I won't get it. Doesn't work that way.
Well, how long were you doing Taekwondo for? I still want to know about that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. You know, I never really thought about it, but I only thought about it this year when I started doing Jiu-Jitsu last year. I guess. Oh, well, last year, and that was like 13 years, and I was like, wow. I can't believe I've done it for 13 years, but I guess not really thinking about it makes the time really fly, doesn't it? Just like having being under eternal servitude to another human being it takes its toll. Anyway, but yeah,
You're making this whole relationship stuff sound pretty shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, it's great. Like you gotta. I think I learned to poke fun at myself because it's.
Oh, I'm a professional at that.
Oh, are you? But with Taekwondo, I mean, like, I did it for 13 years, and I realized that only last year, and I was like, oh my god, 13 years! Can't believe it took that long to like even know what I know. But I got my black belt under my instructor after about when was it? 6 years. It took me 6 years, and that's
how often were you going? A week?
It was once a week, and it was private lessons and all that sort of thing. It wasn't anything crazy, but I was being his like first student because he came into the shop one day, and he was my dad's friend in a sense, and he said I do Taekwondo, and at that point, I mean, I was kind of getting bullied. I was a fat kid, and things weren't going well for me as it doesn't for most fat kids.
Yeah, I was a fat kid and I'm a fat adult. So.
I think fat adults get it better than fat kids.
Yeah, depends. I'm only 22, so adults very loose.
Yeah, David's older than us.
Oh, just by a bit, you know.
Yeah.
52 is not that old compared to.
I was gonna say you don't look a day over 26.
Well, you know what? That's actually kind of true. I am 26. I keep saying I'm 27, but anyway, yeah, like I think with the whole Taekwondo thing, it's like I felt like it took a very long time to get to black belt because I didn't really care about black belt. I just cared about what I was learning. And
isn't that better?
Well,
that's what you always tell me with jiu-jitsu when I want my next bloody stripe.
Well, I mean, wanting your next stripe is a great thing, but you know, ever since like I got my black belt, I started teaching people, and I taught the kids mostly. I taught a variety of kids too, like autistic kids. That was very difficult, extremely difficult to teach an autistic child. Oh, you know what? I'm a psychologist, so I shouldn't really be saying that. I should say someone who is on the ASD, like autism spectrum disorder, as opposed to autistic. But you know, that's extremely difficult because they can't keep their attention span. They want to do other things. You got to accommodate for them whilst having a whole other class of students who want to learn. And I have a lot of difficulty trying to teach those autistic kids. But apart from that, I mean, teaching all these other kids, and I was like, oh man, I'm taking on some responsibility. And it feels, well, it felt like shit at first, can't lie. But it was really good to get through to the kids and eventually, you know, make them motivated enough. Not that their parents just bring them and just be like, yeah, they're going to learn self-defense. It's going to be great. They're going to learn how to kick people in the balls and get away from fights. But rather it was just, oh, you know what? These kids are actually learning about, well, how to be a better person, be disciplined, like some of the tenets of which I think separate martial arts and, I don't know, MMA in a sense, like the MMA culture.
It's a pretty there's not many good blokes in MMA. You can sort of tell when you.
There's not many good blokes.
No, 'cause I don't think there are. They
I
seem a
thought
lot
there would
more.
be good blokes.
They seem a lot more ego based, and then you compare it to someone who's just like a jiu-jitsu master or whatever you call them, and they're very humble and calm and not as arrogant.
I don't
Yeah,
reckon.
there's like I think there's a saying about that. Like, I'm not trying to get biblical on you guys, but there's
No,
like
please
something
do.
like I can't even remember what book it was, but I'm not purporting to be like a face for Christianity or anything like that. But I think it was something like
Too late.
the meek will rise to power or something like that. And by meek, what they actually meant was the people who have swords and know how to use them, but don't use them and keep them sheathed at the waist, like that sort of meek. Like I'm not gonna
I know what you mean.
I'm not gonna have a propensity to violence unless I have to, and they will rise to power.
Well, it's like
And
the saying about the people that actually have real money don't show that they have real money.
Exactly the same feeling about that. I think it's that people don't need to show it when they are confident in themselves, and I think it's not a bad thing to be confident in yourself, but I think it's a really smart thing to be able to say, well, you know what, I have the power, I have this responsibility, and I have a lot of I guess I have a way to change the world within myself, but I don't need to resort to violence. I don't need to resort to an overextension of what I have within me to show people that I just have it, and
It's
good enough.
did starting. So you would have been 13. I did the maths when you started.
Yeah, I was actually.
Did that?
Mate, what a beast.
2 + 2 is
Correct.
4.
Correct.
-1,
One's
that's
on the
3.
3.
Quick maths.
It's true. Dad's a maths teacher, so you know. Did you have to, like, how did you stop getting bullied? If you did, from starting that, did you have to fight anyone? Was the way you carried yourself?
I wish I had a cooler story about this, but the guy got bored of me.
Fair enough. Maybe you just got too confident, you know?
Maybe. I remember one specific moment where he asked me for my lunch money, and I thought that was like, it was the
Like out
funniest
of a
thing to me.
cartoon, bro.
It's like, that sounds
Yeah,
like...
surely if you laugh in his face, he's got nothing.
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, I wasn't smart enough back then, but it was like a pivotal moment of my life where I thought, this guy's asking for my lunch money. What the fuck is this? Is this like an American drama or
Yeah,
something?
is it The Simpsons?
It's like, give me protection money. It's like, what's protection money? It's so I don't hit you. Oh, okay. And I just laughed. I didn't want to laugh, but I just found it so ridiculous. It was just such a funny concept. I was like, oh my God, I'm living in a movie. I'm dramatized. And he just saw me laughing and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I was scared and laughing at the same time. And I didn't give him any money that day anyway. And he just never really bothered me after that.
Oh, no roundhouse kick to the head.
No, I think it was about the...
That's what I want to hear, mate.
No, I've never got into a fight. Never.
I've seen your kicks from your coach, I think, shared a video of you kicking.
Oh yeah, he loves making videos.
Yeah, fuck, good shit, mate. Fucking hell. I got to show Costin after.
I'll pull
You
a
wouldn't pick
hamstring.
it.
I'll pull a hamstring just looking at the video.
Well, funny thing is that no matter how long you train your body, you got to always be prepared to not overdo your body because you think that you've trained. But you got to keep training and keep practicing. Like, I was at a Christmas party and for some reason, all of a sudden I was dancing on the dance floor drunk as hell. And I was like, everyone's moving away from the center of the dance floor. Oh, I am in the center of the dance floor. Oh, Benedict, why is he there? Oh, are we dancing? Oh, are we having a dance-off? And it was just crazy. I was like, oh my God, I'm in a dance-off. I'm not even a dancer. I have no control of my body whatsoever to be artistic in a dance. And he pulled out this Batman move where, whatever that thing's called with the peace sign across your eyes. And I was like, okay, well, I got to do it. I mean, I've practiced Taekwondo for long enough. I should probably be able to do the front splits and jump into it. So I did. I split my hamstring open right
Yeah.
there. But nobody could hear it. Nobody could hear my pain or my suffering. I was just like,
Did you rip your pants?
everyone was clapping. Everyone was amazing. That was great. It's like, well, I limped back in victory to the chair. People were like, are you all right, man? It's like, I'm pretty sure I tore my hamstring.
Did you rip your pants?
No, I didn't, which was amazing.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Did
my
yours-
pants are stronger than my hamstrings.
Did your hamstring go all black and like? Because I've torn it really badly once, and it's sort of stuffed it. But I literally got home one day, and Mum's like, "Why is the back of your leg black?" And literally, like half the back of my leg was just black. It was fucked.
I had a partial tear, so I could feel it. In fact, I think I can still feel like the lumps in it, but the fibers, like, they tore off a little bit. It did get bruised, but I couldn't see the progress of it organically because one of my good friends, Tony, his father is...
Shout out to Tony.
Yeah, shout out to Tony. I was just talking to him this morning, but his dad is a Qigong master. Have you guys heard of Qigong before?
No.
Qigong's like this, it's basically a artful form of Kung Fu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like what you could think of like Tai Chi, except Qigong is used like everyday exercises for people in China or of Chinese descent. And you'll see like old grandmas like walking around the street, like in their slippers and banging their chests or like hitting their shoulders and like they're like trying to get the chi in. And he's the Qigong master. And so I was like, look, I don't believe in that sort of stuff. I come from a scientific background. I need evidence for this stuff. But he's like,
wait, what's chi?
What is chi?
Yeah, you're saying they're trying to get chi in them. Are these the old Asian ladies in the morning at like 5, 6 a.m. doing like stuff? Because I've seen that. We went to Hong Kong before and we saw that everywhere. Yeah,
they're trying to direct the chi, which is what you would call like an energy force, or I mean, we can get really deep into this. Oh man, like, have you heard of Taoism? I've heard of it. Yeah, it's all about chi, like about the energy of the universe and in the ether, which actually scientifically has been disproven in a sense or falsified, but attitude more than truth, to be honest. But anyway, so the chi like goes through the body, goes through certain points, and it powers you to your organs stay in balance, and you have a good blood flow, and a chi flow is like a separate thing to the blood flow. Anyway, it's really deep, and to be honest, most people think of it as pseudoscience, but it's interesting to read about. So a Qigong practitioner is like mastered how to put chi through their body, through the places where they need to go, almost to the point where, say, for example, Tony's dad, Master Yang, he does this video with a pebble, like a rock that's been in a river, right? And it's actually not, I'd say pebble, but it's actually a lot bigger than that. It's about the size of a fist. And more, maybe in a scientific sense, yeah, it's been eroded away, it's weathered away because it's a smooth pebble, and yeah, like, okay, it could be weak as a rock, but he literally gets his two fingers, his index and his middle finger, and he's like waving it across, like gathering chi or some sort of pseudo-scientific bullshit quackery, and he strikes it with his two fingers, and the rock cracks in half. And I'm like, damn, no, that must have been a cracked rock.
Bullshit.
There must have been some glue on that shit, and it was just gluing it together. And then he did it for me in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Albeit it was in front of a video. By in front of my eyes, I mean in front of a video. But it was amazing. And I was like, I can't believe it. This is some crazy shit. Sometimes science doesn't explain some things. And it's sort of why we get curious about things. And it's like, okay, I'm curious about this Qigong thing. So back to this hamstring, he's like, oh, your hamstring snapped. That's a bad deal. The chi is all blocked. Of course he says something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. And he's like, don't worry, wait here. I'll get something. Take your pants off. I was like, oh shit.
He's getting the lube.
Yeah. So he gets this metal rod, like about the size, like a foot, like a 30 centimeter long metal rod. And he has if I don't remember correctly, I'm very sorry, Master Yang, but I'm pretty sure he has incense sticks as well. Like, I was like, this is total quackery. This can't be real. He lights up the incense and he's like, okay, relax and lay down on your stomach. And he just starts hitting, like striking the back of my hamstring until it was just numb at that point. It didn't even hurt anymore. It was just numb. And he took a picture of my hamstrings, well, both of them. And my right hamstring was just absolutely purple, brown, every color of the rainbow. And I was like, this is worse than any bully has ever done to me. I can't believe I let this guy do this to me. And I come back the next week. He's like, oh, how are you walking now? Oh, it's a little bit better. And he sees me walk. He's like, you're still limping. The chi is still blocked. So I go through it a second time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like, I experienced that and I thought, this is an interesting world. People live in different like truths and different attitudes. And well, if you believe that Qi is a real thing or Qi Gong is a real thing or the things that they practice, like you can sort of bring that stuff into reality because he definitely did by bruising the shit out of my hamstring.
Did it help? Did it actually help or nah?
To be honest, I never went to a physio. I never went to a doctor. I never went to anybody. I was lazy about it back then. I didn't really care about my health, but I started walking again normally, pretty much within 2 weeks.
Yeah, but is that just regular healing time?
Exactly.
Mine took like 6-7 weeks. Like,
was yours like a full tear or what?
Yeah.
How did you tear yours, Costa?
Yeah.
I think I remember. I've
got a photo somewhere. I'm trying to remember how I actually did it. I don't actually know.
Some big sprints.
I must have been. I think it was just during a run. It just got me during
Bit
soccer.
of a runner, hey?
I think it was in soccer. It was when I played soccer on Sundays, and it just tore. I just couldn't walk. It was fucked.
Did you have to bring you out on a stretcher or something?
No, until the guys like carried me off, like wrapped me around their shoulders and carried me off. But it took me like 6-7 weeks before it even I could even properly walk. And even now, when I try to run, I've got to warm up for like half an hour. Otherwise, I can feel it still like clicking and shit.
You got some chi blockage, mate.
I'll introduce you to Master Yang.
Yeah, get the metal rod out.
And the incense sticks. Don't forget about that.
And sorry.
Burning that sage.
Well, our mate's got incense sticks at his place, so we'll jump over to his. Talon can bring a metal rod, and we can
lockdown, mate. Nothing like that.
Well, not yet. After lockdown, we can go to Beat Town on my hamstring.
How are you guys doing in lockdown?
Pardon?
How are you guys doing in lockdown?
I'm fucking bored, bro.
I'm working. I'm still working.
He does construction, so he's still working. Well, I'm at home every day.
You told me that you were doing a podcast yesterday as well.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did a
mentoring.
podcast.
Shout out to Mentoring Man.
You're just dishing out these shout outs today.
Yeah, well, millions of views, mate. You know, a lot of people got a shout out to. But yeah, we're going to try and get consistency. So every Sunday we upload a podcast, and we're going to have a couple in the backlog. Yeah. So after this, we're probably going to upload. But I've been bored at home. So I've been doing this. Costin's been balancing everything like he always does, like a king, because he works like a dog at construction. That's it, man. Excited to go back to
king and dog in the same sentence to describe the same person.
Mate, you don't know the guy, but it works.
I'm a complex man. It does work. I'm like an onion layered.
Very fine balancing act.
It's extremely fine. Could have catastrophic consequences if not balanced.
Sounds like he doesn't have a chi blockage, really.
No, he's in chi. He's in Zen.
Yeah.
Does Zen tie in with chi, or is that a different philosophy?
My chi is chaos.
Wow. Well, actually, the chaos aspect of the chi is actually really important because, well, I'm not sure how much you guys know about Taoism in a sense. But,
Nothing.
Well, okay, let's do a quick introductory. Well, Taoism is this thing where I think the first part of the book is just really totally confusing. Like, it's meant for nobody to understand it, but it's like the Tao is the way that everything lives. The Tao is in the universe, and it goes through everybody and goes through everything, and it's like an energy force within the ether or something like that. And then it starts telling you tenets of Taoism that, like, well, there's a balance between like, what do they call it? Entropy, right? Where there's chaos that ruins everything, or like produces change, and then there's like, I guess, where you feel comfortable or safe, and you have to have a constant balance between those two things. Otherwise, your life becomes meaningless. That you don't have any sort of, well, I would say, true thing to live for in your life. And so the Taoists purport that, you need that stable, well, I guess, instability, so lack of stableness throughout chaos and order, that you need to be able to navigate your way through the world through chaos and order, be able to go into chaotic events and produce the order, and be able to go into orderly events and produce the chaos in order to keep the world changing. Because, well, I don't know if you guys ever went into a psychology lecture before, but the answer to any question is always, it depends. So it's always both, right?
Would you say you're a Taoist?
No, I think I don't think I'm even an atheist or a Buddhist or a Christian. I just like reading about all this stuff because it provides a lot of different perspectives.
It is interesting stuff. I love the chaos, the balance side of things, and the calmness up for debate. Happens sometimes.
For you?
Yeah, for me.
Well, that means Costin's like a very always wants change.
I'm fucked up. No, I do like change. It's actually a good point because, like, I've been working for this company that I'm working for now for 5 years, and then I've been doing the uni full time for 4 of those years, whilst working full time for those years. And now I'm at a point where I want to sort of do something different, as in still in construction, but something more fulfilling, or like something on my own. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and the change that she produced doesn't even have to be like massive. It just has to be like something new. I think like a lot of
like
people,
a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Like making this podcast was like a great idea, not only for you to, I guess, broadcast people to the internet, like me. For some reason, I'm very proud of myself, aren't I? But to broadcast good conversation, or at least long form conversation, which is pretty, I guess, rare. Well,
not anymore.
Not anymore. You're right. Yeah, it's not anymore. But long form conversation, long form, having these online chats and that sort of thing. It wasn't very popular back when it was TV days. Now it's YouTube days, and it's like crazy. Like so many people are doing it, and it's actually important because you get unedited scripts and people like, I don't know, being monkeys, which is kind of funny sometimes. But you got that, and it's like, well, now if we're doing these long form conversations, we could talk about literally anything.
Exactly. I think that's better because it's more authentic.
Yeah, and it's also allowing you guys to proliferate and do something different. And that's great, right? Because, well, imagine if you did lockdown without changing a single thing. Imagine all the guys who went straight into lockdown and were just like, you know what? I am going to try to live in my room for the next however long. Like, what was the first thing? Like, a month? And now it's 2 months. It might be till Christmas.
Like 10 weeks now.
And imagine if you don't change a single damn thing in 10 weeks.
Yeah. But if you get in a good routine, and you're always in a good routine, like part of that is maintaining that discipline.
You get bored. I'm bored.
Yeah, you'd get bored. I'm bored as fuck.
I've been doing the same thing for 5 years now. I'm bored.
That's true.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know what that says about our impending relationships. Is that impending doom? Like, we're not at 5 years yet, Taylor, but we might be.
No, it depends. Like, I've known Taylor for...
Here we go. He likes to flex this.
It's like 18 years or something. I'm not bored yet.
Oh, yay.
But, good change might be a new podcast partner. Who knows?
Oh, man. I mean, perhaps someone less bold.
Perhaps.
Yeah, it's got to have hair.
It's true, but it's a talking point. Look, the guy with hair, the guy with no hair.
Well, I wear a hat, so no one can see my hair.
It's true. He's got great hair.
You just know it's
David.
there.
He's got great hair, I gotta say. There's stuff I wanted to ask you as well. What made you start jiu-jitsu? No, it's good. What made you start jiu-jitsu?
What made me start jiu-jitsu?
When you're already like a master at something else, why not continue going down that avenue and
change?
Yeah. Just change
actually,
why?
it's your question rides exactly into what we were talking about, I guess. So
Fuck
Come on,
yeah,
Tay,
yeah.
mate. You
yeah,
can't stick.
I predict these things.
yeah, you're like the oracle. Okay. Jiu-jitsu for me was a big change, and I wanted that because my instructor, he perhaps he used to see me as a student. Now he sees me as a training partner, someone who's there to, help him go past these bounds. Because I don't know if you guys have ever stood in like a teacher's perspective or the position of someone who's meant to be, I guess, scholarly and give education to people. But man, you got to change it up as a teacher and you got to keep learning for yourself because I think the label of teacher is not necessarily dangerous, but it puts you into this mode
I
of
get what you
thinking
mean.
where you say, oh, I am the shit.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing to think that you're the shit. Like, I think I'll always be a student. So I really wanted to be a student and you think, because I was teaching kids, of course I knew more than them. And I've been learning for longer than them. Like they taught, some of the kids taught me things that I didn't see before. Like their mobility as kids is just unparalleled. Like if you don't train your mobility, then you'll
They
see.
also have no fear when they're younger.
Exactly. Yeah, that's some sort of invincibility that like they could just like jump off like a 50-story building and be like, yeah, brush the dust off, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm like going down like 2 steps at a time, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be in a wheelchair. But jiu-jitsu for me was like a whole new like big fish in a little pond. And it's like, well, I don't want to be the big fish in a little pond because I'm killing everybody else at the moment, and I'm taking all their water, and it's not great. So time to be that big fish in a big ocean, and I saw how big the ocean is. It's insane.
Yeah.
And I think the real reason for doing jiu-jitsu was just a sense of curiosity for something else. I mean, striking based sports, they don't have a lot on ground fighting. I was actually watching Royce Gracie in UFC 5, like number 5, like back in 1990 something.
Was that with Shamrock, the wrestling dude?
With Ken Shamrock, yeah.
Yeah,
I was watching that yesterday, and I was like, man, that guy put a guy in, put this guy in close guard for 40 minutes.
Yeah, and he's like double his size.
Yeah, everyone's just shouting, just like, what is this? What is this bullshit? And it's like, well, you know what? Ken Shamrock probably didn't know much about that sort of stuff, even though he wore all the gear. He had, those nice tidy black underwear,
shoes,
all the gear and no idea.
And he had the shoes
exactly. On. Oh, you got a nice sense for poetic sentences.
Oh, he's a bit of a poet.
Fuck. How has this come up?
I think you could be a Shakespeare of our modern day. But
he is.
Oh, I do dabble in poetry, but
complex like an onion.
Like many
layered, like Shrek would say, man.
But yeah, I mean, I guess jiu-jitsu, just all in all, jiu-jitsu to me has been, well, look, ground fighting, striking. Yeah, you want to know all the things about everything in martial arts, go do it. And my instructor, unlike his instructor back then, because our Taekwondo school wasn't really a WTF on ITF, which is World Taekwondo Federation and International Taekwondo Federation. They had 2 different types of rule sets and styles. And none of them really applied to us, even though ITF was probably the more fitting of the 2. We practiced crazy shit. We were like stomping on feet. We were kneeing people in balls, like learning how to do that sort of stuff. And I'm like, this isn't Taekwondo. And he's like, no, it's not. It's about learning everything you can and utilizing what you need, or at least having the knowledge for it. And it's like, what if you go down in the ground? And that's something he asked me since I became a black belt. And he was like, well, of course I can protect myself on the ground. I just kick the hell out of them, up kick them, or something like that. And I'm just like, like that's kind of not enough. But let's see what's out there. And so jiu-jitsu, finally, I told myself I'd start jiu-jitsu like 3 years ago, but I never did.
Yeah.
Because I was a lazy bugger. And then finally, I was like, screw it, let's do it. So many people are telling me to do it. I'll try it. And I'm still here. So, yeah, curiosity
fucking beast.
killed the cat. But
I'm going to say curiosity killed the cat.
the satisfaction brought it back.
Look at you, mate. You're a bit of a poet yourself.
Yeah, you're a bit of a poet
It's all that
yourself,
reading.
mate.
Yeah, you know what? I found out another phrase that everybody says, right? And this might make you feel better about yourself if you feel like you're a jack of all trades, because the actual phrase apparently is jack of all trades,
Master of none.
master of none, right? But the second
That's
part
not
is
bad, I don't think.
what was the second part? It was jack of all trades, master of none, but better than being a master of one.
Yeah, I agree. That's why, yeah, I agree with that. That's good. I like the jack of all trades mentality.
Yeah.
I'd like to know a lot about a little.
I'd say
about
I'm
a
a
lot, I
Swiss
mean.
Army knife.
Oh,
Yeah.
would you now? Fair enough. Fuck yeah.
Which part? Like the knife, the Phillips head screwdriver, or
Whichever part is useful at a certain time.
that's the perfect answer. Swiss Army knife. That's a really good analogy, actually. Like if you think of yourself as a Swiss Army knife, like you're not the best tool all the time because you might not fit in the hand properly at that point.
But in
And
certain situations,
you gotta have it, right? And so I kind of want to be a Swiss Army knife of everything, and I'm mildly curious, at least about everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to Taylor yesterday about you showed me a book about Plato, right? A philosopher.
Pocket-sized Play-Doh.
Yeah.
George gave it to me, Costin, of course.
some pretty intense stuff. I don't think I've read a book in a couple of years.
Yeah. Keep going
Philosophy
there.
books, man.
I literally look at behind me is like all these books that I've read and like down.
Oh, relax, bro. A lot of them are
No.
textbooks from high school.
No, like the older, like Harry Potter. Like I read heaps when I was younger, but then I just haven't anymore. Like, fuck, I just read shitty contracts now, and that's it.
Well, maybe that's a slight change that you could employ in your life as well. I mean, like not to sound like a guru or something like that, but I started reading books again after Taylor showed me the Plato book,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
holy shit! You know what? I don't remember anything about the genealogy of morals by Nietzsche, and I remember that guy was like a mad existentialist, and I remember that was one of the things that like really changed the way that I thought about how to navigate my life and my morals. And so I read like a chapter again just yesterday after I saw that Taylor was reading Plato. I was like, man, I read it through such a different lens. Not because I'm wearing red glasses.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the red glasses. Throw some clears on, mate.
Everything's rosy. But it's amazing. Like, you read it, it's like listening to a song that you haven't listened to a long time ago. It would be like, okay, I used to think this was a crap song. And then it's like, oh, it's actually not too bad. Like, you have a different lens for the world because you've done so many other different things. Like, if you keep reading books all the time, man, it can get boring, right? Exactly the same thing. You're like in a routine of reading books. And like the people who, I don't believe in this crap that people say, I read like 7 books a week. Or like they'll say some sort of...
Yeah, you're just skimming.
Yeah, there's the 52-week challenge or some shit.
It's like, yeah. And
all
it's
the
like,
hot Instagram chicks do it.
I was about to say.
It makes them look really smart.
Very smart.
That's what I hate. You have a big stack and it's like, oh, this month's done. It's like, go fuck yourself.
Get a real job.
They're too busy reading, man, to do that sort of thing. They can't go fuck themselves.
No.
Well, after their morning Pilates class and their meditation, they don't have much time left for anything of substance. So you got to give them a break there.
Costin's on a vendetta against Instagram models.
You know what, Taylor and Costin, you guys are looking forward to the letters coming from all the Instagram hotties.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh,
They're
I'm
going to
waiting.
be like, oh, man, these guys trying to rat us out. How
Fucking
dare
oath.
they?
They're getting ratted. I don't care. I'm declaring war right now.
On Instagram hotties or Instagram thotties?
Instagram
He has
thotties
to think about that one.
and hotties who think they're smart.
Well, there might be some that are smart because, I mean, back then in like Miss Universe or whatever like that, right? They would have that round where they show the talent round.
Yeah, that was the biggest. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of them were extremely, I don't know. Let's start with the good news. Some of them were extremely talented, right?
Yeah.
Some of them a bit less so. They were like beautiful or something like that, and that was really about it. But I mean, what can they do? like if they don't have the tools to see in that, like, I'm not saying that they don't have tools. I'm saying that like, oh, well, I think this is something that a lot of people like to talk about, the angel effect, right? Or the
What's
halo.
that?
It's where someone who is more attractive, at least in a general sense, and attractiveness, I mean, it's very hard to give a discussion on, because attractiveness is a lot of different things, and culturally it's a bit different too. But someone who's more attractive on a scalable measure is more likely to have good things happen to them, or like have the opportunities presented to them, right?
My life makes sense.
Yeah, like Instagram hotties. Oh yeah, of course they'll have more good things happen to them because they're just attractive people, right? And we're not talking about attractive as in
Just
like
put me on a Greek island on a farm with a few grandmas and watch me thrive. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, watch that, and they'll be seeing the halos on top of your head too. They'll be like, oh wow, this guy, he's like come down from heaven, a Greek god chiseled.
Until I take the very, very puffy jacket off.
You're wearing a puffer jacket in Mykonos? What are you doing?
Yeah, don't worry. It's to hide my perfect physique.
You don't want to kill people on the first look. No, you got to let them
that's
guess.
it. I can't show them that I can balance a beer on the gut until like I've known it for at least a couple of weeks.
I mean,
I
you
can't
can balance
do
a
that.
beer in the gut pretty easily. You can show them that anytime.
Yeah, if they want to see it, they'll get it.
Oh man, what were we talking about?
I forgot.
Mate, it's just fun cause coming out and steering the conversation away from spirituality.
Well, we don't even have to talk about that, really. I mean,
I want to know why you've told me, but
back to the script,
Austin as well. No script. No, there were things I wanted to ask you. Yes. This was the last one. Why you stopped being a psychologist?
Oh.
Yeah, fuck yeah. That's the one. That's the money question.
You know, for our impending conversation that we were meant to have last week, yes, I am saying it on air.
Yeah,
we did get rescheduled 3 times.
Go fuck yourself.
Fuck.
I wonder whose fault it was. I'm not too sure.
I think it's the guy behind me.
Yeah, who's that? Revenge of the Star Wars. Is that a book?
Oi, don't diss Star Wars, bro.
Right?
Mate, I'm gonna have to suck in physical here.
Well, I mean, sure. Let's say it like this. I thought about it a lot, and sometimes I would think that I was really pessimistic about everything, resentful maybe, that the world of psychology was a bit more closed off to people than I thought, at least in Australia. That you needed money, you needed capital, someone to fund you through your study. You needed to be in a fairly good place in life, that you wouldn't be like, say, for example, imagine like a lot of people in the psychology world, in fact, some of my friends, single mothers, or coming back from like as mature age students, not only to say about the troubles of being mature age students in university and the sort of flack you get for being mature age and nobody wanting to work with you, even worse than like being an international student in like Macquarie University, for example. Nobody wants to work with you, and if you're mature age, even worse. But that's like besides the point. You have so many other things to deal with in your life, like your kids, which people don't even think of as like a real job, because you don't get paid to be a housemaid or something like that. And you would see these people struggling. And it made me really resentful about the position that these people had to adopt in their lives to try to change their lives. They had to go through a lot of struggle, a lot of suffering. And it made me feel, wow, in order to get to these higher positions in life, some people go through the systematic path that they needed to go through a psychology degree. They really want to help people. And that's a noble cause. Like, if you really want to help people in your life, and that's all you have on your mind, like, and you're already helping people as, like, say, a single mom, for example. I mean, even if you weren't a single mom, like you're like me, a younger student at like 21 or something like that, and you want to help people, that's pretty noble. Like, you're very young. Help yourself first, right? But if the thing on your mind that obviously, evidently, if you're going to a psychology school, yeah, you're in the end gonna try to help people. And that's
Mhm.
the goal of it. And for people to, well, I guess the board, or I guess in a bit of controversy, the universities even, making it very difficult to get there. You'd have to do a 2-year internship as well, or say if you do a 5+1, it's a master's degree for 1 year plus another internship or something like that. And generally very underpaid or not paid at all, which is something that I went through. And you'd also have to pay supervision, which is not cheap. And if you don't have the capital for it, you're not even looking into that sort of career.
Can't you get HEX loans for that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's called fee help now. So for people doing their bachelor, actually, I haven't checked for a while because I haven't been in university, but if you're doing a bachelor or an undergrad, you'd actually have to pay 25% on top as interest. If you're doing postgraduate, then yeah, you can pay the same amount. Sorry, what was that, Chris?
No, it's all a business these days.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, imagine if you're a scholar and then you just kept teaching people. What's the best way to make money from that? Oh, knowledge is power. Power is money. And time is money too. So therefore, I'm going to charge you your arm, leg, and everything else that you own. So, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not bitter and resentful at those sorts of people because, well, they have to do that sort of thing. But, I mean, I think it was after my first graduation that I saw the people walking in. And you guys have graduated?
Last semester for me.
I've got one subject left.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll feel the same thing, and I hope I don't color your perception. But these guys, I graduated Macquarie as well as Monash. So at Macquarie, oh damn, they had the whole board, like the whole psychology board, and like the vice chancellor and all that sort of thing, walk up through the middle of the audience, through the aisle, and go onto the stage, and they're all wearing these robes, and these funny hats too. That was really funny. I really like the hats, actually. I wish I could buy one. But anyway, I thought that these guys look like the KKK. Okay, I look forward to your letters. Anyway, so, I mean, I looked at that and I was like, man, this is like cult. These guys are like running this big ship with a lot of money. Yeah, some of the tutors, they don't get a lot of money, but you know,
the vice chancellor over there is on like 1.1 mil a year or something. Because my last project was at Macquarie Uni doing the new grad hall and student accommodation and stuff like that. And yeah, the vice chancellor would come around to have a look, and yeah, there was some article about uproar at it was like over $1 million in salary a year. It was insane.
Yeah, that is insane. And you know, like you guys know that vice chancellor and chancellor, like the vice chancellor is actually the person.
Yeah, he runs the show, and the chancellor is just like the figurehead.
Yeah, just like the queen.
The puppet. He's the puppet. The vice chancellor's up here playing with the strings, and the chancellor's doing the nice stuff at the bottom.
So yes, I look very good today. I dressed myself up and brushed my teeth twice a day. So, I mean, after that first graduation experience, I was like, man, there's something I'm not doing here that all these other people are doing. And then I went into my first internship, and I was starting to teach kids a bit of their self-esteem and a bit of their self-confidence through the guise of teaching them literacy and numeracy, because they were dropping below some other students in the general test results. And they'll go one-on-one with me. And I've always loved educating. Educating to me was like a really big thing. And I think in a sense that psychology is a bit of an education of like understanding about yourself and understanding therapeutic tools to help yourself. So I was helping these kids, and I could see some of them like, they struggled. And they were, I thought it was really insane. They were like 6-year-old kids who knew that they were struggling, who knew that they were like falling behind. And it was sad, because I'm pretty sure at 6 years old, I never thought I was falling behind in anything.
Yeah, I can't even,
yeah. At that point in my life, I was just trying to live happy. But these people have been put under pressure to the point where, you know, their parents are telling them, well, you got to be better. Oh, you got to be this, you got to be that, you know? And these kids, man, they changed my life, really, like teaching these kids. I really got to see what psychology is all about, and I loved it. But I think the board and everyone around me, like the supervision and that sort of thing, I said to myself, I really want to do this. I really want to be a psychologist, and I really want to help people, especially the people that know that they need help. Because even in my Taekwondo class, when I teach kids, I only teach the kids that want to learn. I don't want to teach nobody who don't want to be there, because what's the point? You got to want to change yourself in order to learn something. And these kids all knew that, so young, and they all knew that. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I got to learn to be this psychologist. But I mean, there was like some personal issues about like with my family, where I wanted to help my family out. But also, I was just very against the idea that in order to help people, I got to go through a bunch of institutional bullcrap. That wasn't in my character. And I don't want to be that single mom at university who thinks this is the only way, because I have no other options to help feed my child. I need to have a higher paying job, especially when they get older. I want them to, have a good life, better than me. I don't want to have to think about those sorts of things, because they're dreadful. It's a really hard life to live. And I have so many options when I'm younger. I was 21 at the time, 22 at the time. And I was thinking, damn, I do have options. I don't have to go down this route. I can do other things. I can help my family, say with the family business, which is actually what I'm doing now, which isn't really a family business, it's more my dad's business. But I'm fixing cars now. I'm fixing like electronics in cars, which is totally out of my field. But, I am from a scientific background, so I learned pretty quickly. But anyway, and I wanted to do other things. Like I wanted to chase and pursue some of my hobbies. I wanted to see the world a little bit, and I got to. And I did all those things, and I said, wow, you really did it, David. You didn't follow this particular path because you disagreed with it. And maybe it's really bad for you in the long term, that not being a psychologist, not becoming the clinical psychologist you wanted to be to help people was a bad idea. That you're not going to make enough money to actually make any change in the world. But even if I went back to that age, I don't think I'd change anything, because moralistically, I stand up to the point where I say, no, I don't think I agree with that. I don't agree with paying out tens of thousands of dollars to supervision, where the supervisors, well, I mean, I'm not naming names, so it doesn't really matter, but they didn't really help me. They didn't really supervise me. Nothing really happened. I was paying out money for nothing. In fact, I feel like I was supervising myself most of the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's really the brunt of it, that I did not want to live a life where I'd say, I regret that decision that I made back then, where I said, hey, why did you even go through that supervision bullshit? Was it all worth it? Did you really get that in your, and when you're 40, or when I look as good as like 40, like Talon does.
Correct.
Like, how am I going to say to myself, how am I going to say to my kids, how am I going to say to my wife, how am I going to say to anybody in my family that, you know what, everything that I did was worth it, and I made mistakes or something like that, and it was all worth it, when like I couldn't do a simple thing like stand up for what I believe in. And even if what I believe in is wrong, at least I believed in it, and I had the attitude to change my life. So I mean, I'm not trying to be a guru once again, but I feel like changing your life is actually pretty easy.
What's a guru? It's a guru.
Oh, I think the traditional term is guru.
Okay.
Come on, Talon, get your head in the game, mate.
All right, yeah, keep going.
Guru has been an Americanized version of the word guru.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think that was mainly the reason why I stopped doing psychology. But you know what? I've been thinking about it again, because, I don't know if you guys know about Dr. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. No,
of course.
I think everybody knows about Dr. Jordan nowadays.
JP.
Yeah, because my girlfriend's in Vietnam, so it's in close proximity to like what I care about, and my blood is Vietnamese, so I see a lot of the issues in Vietnam, for example, and I think, wow, there's a lot of things that could be fixed here. Like men, they live under this cultural guise that I don't think that the Western way of living is necessarily correct, like Western masculinity or Eastern masculinity. But there's definitely things that can be fixed about both. And Vietnam is hyper like Eastern. Like the man sits at home, does nothing, screams about where's my dinner or something like that. In fact, there's a really good joke, and I mean it as a joke, but you know, all jokes have a bit of truth. Is that what's a Vietnamese husband good for? 2 things: drinking beer and beating the shit out of your wife. I mean, it's dark, but it's kind of true, at least in the older sense of the way. And there's a lot of Vietnamese men out there who aren't really doing the best for their families and doing the best for themselves. And I was like, how many of these guys know about Dr. Jordan Peterson? I was thinking, maybe one day I could go back to Vietnam and I could host a talk show there with some people, and maybe even a podcast with millions of followers like Two Thinking Apes.
Correct.
And maybe it would be
give
really
us a few
good.
years.
Hopefully I can broadcast to a lot of people like you guys do. I look up to you in that regard.
Oh yeah, shut up, bro.
Oh, I'm gonna
Well, you
That's
guys started it.
get all
Right.
teary.
You can do it too.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you started it at all is already a win.
Trust me, if we can do it, any person or thing can do it.
I never thought you thought of me as a thing.
I'm just saying a dog could start our podcast if he wanted to.
Fuck.
A dog would actually probably get more views just because it's a dog.
Yeah. You know what?
Hey,
I thought about that.
we're growing, bro.
No, we're
growing.
a bunch of dogs, aren't we, Tay?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
so cute. People just want to like rub you on the stomach and pat your head. You know, I thought about this the other day. Like, you know, dogs don't really pay the bills, do they? But and they get everything. Imagine like if you treated your son, your daughter, your family with the same respect that you treat a dog, and like people, I don't know, Instagram hottie would treat a dog nowadays. Damn, you know how different the world would be.
Yeah, shout out to any Instagram hotties listening to this that might need a human dog. I'm free every single day.
Hey, do you come with a leash?
Sure.
barks on cue.
Whatever you
Yeah.
want.
I can imagine Costin's leash is the one like, you know, punk rockers wear with the studs.
Oh, of course. I'll be a diva.
With the choker. Oh,
Yeah.
a bit too tight, but you know what? That's the way you like it.
Yeah, it's the way I like it.
Oh God.
This has
Oh.
really deviated.
Yeah, this went left real quick.
Sort of.
I don't think
JP
you
to
can
dogs.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think is that a good spot to
I
end
think
it?
it's a perfect spot to end it. Choking,
All right, perfect.
dogs, the best.
Chi.
Yeah. My chi is very bent. Left.
no, I think your chi is actually quite perfect. So balanced. The king of the
Oh.
dogs or something like that, right? That's what Taylor said.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him a king of the dogs. He's a king and a dog.
A king and a dog.
Yeah, two separate things.
Well, to be honest, all the Instagram hotties love you. So please put your phone number out there. All the Instagram hotties.
Oh yeah.
043. Nah.
Don't worry, bro.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
thanks for that.
Thank you very
David.
much for coming on.
Appreciate
It's
it, bro.
Very, very good. Very good chat.
Thanks, mate.
Appreciate
I'll see you soon. Hopefully, we get out of this fucking lockdown soon.
Yes, very soon. Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks.
you,
Appreciate it,
David.
David.
See you.
See you, man.
it. Yeah.
See ya.